same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Now I am become death.
Hello everyone. Death Note 2017. I'm late to the party as usual, but I want to talk about this. Truly an oddity, I'd say. Everyone hated this when it came out and said their pieces, but I didn't, and I want to. Why? Well, my goals are beyond your understanding. The movie starts with an immediate problem. Why are we in Seattle? Yeah, truly. I watched Death Note 7 years ago or something and rewatched it before watching this, and so everything just sticks out more. Light for some reason does other people's schoolwork for money. He has dyed blonde hair for some reason. Why are you interested in this girl? And why are we in Seattle? The anime opens with... and the movie opens with... This isn't really a big point. I just want to mention that I find it hilarious in the anime when it just starts with... Anyway, in the anime, Light is bored in class because he's just that giga chad of a nerd when he notices the Death Note fall out of the sky. In the movie, he's outside dealing homework, when a storm kicks in and the Death Note falls out of the sky right next to him and he picks it up. Since it's storming, everybody's freaking out and screams, when they should just be acting like this girl. Yeah, it ain't that big a deal. As Light is getting back inside, we see a kid get absolutely knocked outside as if it were Nemesis from Resident Evil. And this here is another divergence from the anime. See, this is an adaptation, isn't it? It's not going to be the same. It can't be. Different mediums have their own restrictions, etc. But it's obvious when they're trying to adapt things. In the anime, Light sees a woman being picked on, just like this kid is being picked on by the bullies. Both injustices which these scenes set to establish Light doesn't tolerate. In the anime, Light tests the notebook on the assailants. In the movie, Light uses his bronze instead of his brains. The fuck? But I got a bit ahead of myself, because I haven't mentioned...
Stupid fuck, you know that? Called you stupid fuck? Fuck?
Yeah, that's right. So, you see, dear audience, anime is for little baby toddler children. Or at least that's the idea some people have. Anime equals cartoons equals for kids. So to prove to everyone that we're not for little baby toddler children, we need to say fuck!
Good boy.
And have gore and titties and sex. This is for adults. Now will you take us seriously? Light gets found unconscious by a teacher, and instead of checking if he's okay, the teacher notices the homeworks he has. Hey, teachers can't lay their hands on students, I guess. He gets detention for doing other kids' homework, and on his way out he sees the same girl and... Why are you interested? Alright, another change. In the anime, Light is legitimately never shown to be interested in anyone. He has, on multiple occasions, shown interest in women only to use them for his own benefit. Whereas in the movie...
Dad, and you just dared us to kill him on live television. Do you really think people are gonna be on their knees if you can talk to Kira like that?
We're not killing my dad!
Oh dear God. Light is serving his time when the teacher goes, I'm gonna dip, don't fuck around and find out. And Light promptly fucks around and finds out. Why is he the only one here? I guess we only care about academic integrity. He throws his books to the ground to take out the Death Note when he could have just put them back in his backpack like a normal person. I mean, they're still your books, dude. And look, I'm sure you can find plenty of inaccuracy listicles, and I'm not planning on being one. I mean, this really jumps the shark later. But look at how Light reacts to reading the Death Note rules in the anime.
The human whose name is written in this notebook shall die.
Versus the movie.
Shall die. Whoa.
This is all just foreshadowing or Chekhov's gun for how inaccurate it really gets. It's the Death Note, ooh, supernatural. So lights flicker and it gets windy. Why
is there paper flying around?
I don't know.
What room is this? An art room, I guess? It's just very, very well supplied. Oh, come on, he doesn't look that bad. Honestly, again, considering how different mediums have different limitations and what works in one may not work in another, I don't think Ryuk looks that bad. especially considering the time. I mean, hey, this wasn't even the peak of the MCU and how nerds nitpicked everything to see if it's one-to-one. Because God forbid you see anything different than what you read. Oh, so this was a Goomba in 1993. This light is not at all steadfast, level-headed, or chill.
Shall we begin?
Shall we begin?
Oh no. Cringe.
Ryuk is played by Willem Dafoe. He's not bad, but I don't see anything particularly unique in his performance, and it's not like I haven't watched other movies of his, but I get a Green Goblin feeling from it.
Go on, help her.
I'm really sounding like a broken record, aren't I? In the anime, Light tests out the book on his own accord, but in the movie, Ryuk coerces him into using it. Not only that, he tells Light that he can put more than a who. See, this is what happens when you have an hour and 40-minute runtime.
There's no need to stop it. Who?
Sorry, what else is there?
I swear, when this Light thinks to himself, it echoes. The movie then cosplays as Final Destination for a second. A guy bounces a basketball when a lady with groceries has her bag tear in front of them, causing the guy to lose his ball in the street as a van is driving by. The van crashes into a car, causing the ladder on top of it to extend forward and cut one of the guy's heads off clean. And Man, this is so crazy. I wish the movie kept up this silly pace. Well, does it? Cut to home, and they're living right next to a train which shakes the house, and that never comes up again. That's a good screenplay for you. Light and his dad, who's a cop, are having dinner. He tries to check up on him with what happened at school to see if he's okay. He doesn't want to talk about it. His dad asks why he was there, and in a show of true writing talent, it's obvious that this dialogue is reverse engineered for his dad to come to the conclusion that he knows he was cheating.
Is he a friend of yours?
Who?
Kid in the accident.
Oh, no, I don't think he was a friend of anyone.
You want to talk about it?
No.
Maybe we should talk about why you were still at school when it happened.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't a big deal. I actually just wrote a couple papers and then got detention.
You don't think cheating's a big deal?
Tell me I'm wrong. They have an argument, and it turns out Light is upset at his dad because he thinks he let a scumbag who killed his mom get away. The way they end this shot is cut odd too. You feel that, right? I guess filmmaking 101 tells you to put an in-between shot, but I don't know, it doesn't feel right to me. Like, either something other than the meat, but you didn't put anything else. Or maybe the shot is a second too long? Anyway, Light goes to his room to deal with his mom's killer himself.
Rule 64.
Jeez, why are there so many rules?
Each page of the note contains the power of the whole note. Rule 95. Jesus, how many rules?
Thank you, lampshading writer. I wonder if that will come up again.
It's pronounced Ryuk.
Oh, hi.
God, please stop speaking.
Sorry for the mispronunciation.
What is this interaction? We get a crash course on how the book works. This is what happens when you have an hour and 40 minutes. We learn some rules, including some made-up ones, like being able to control people for 2 days.
2 days. Your fingers are huge.
God, you're so dense.
Step up.
Shut
Step
up.
off.
Shut up.
Shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up. I hope you die in a fire. Shut the fuck up.
Each death must be physically possible, so no shark attacks while someone's on the toilet.
But for some reason, a decapitation happened. God, I'm gonna be here all day if I have to point out everything, aren't I? At this point, we're nearly done with the first act, and there's something I'll get into deeper later, but I'll mention it here too. At this point, this adaptation has adapted, changed, and morphed to fit the wants of the writers and into the screenplay so much that I'm going to ask you a question similar to, when does homage become ripping off? When does adapting, putting a twist, or your weird, odd fan fiction become OC? Light goes into his dad's room to get a picture and a name of the guy, and then writes his name down. We see how the man dies, another Rube Goldberg machine. A lady knocks a salt shaker and it rolls onto the floor, causing this waiter to trip, shoving him into his own knife in his hand.
No shark attacks while someone's on the toilet.
Oh, and let's not forget, this ain't your grandma's death note. Alright, let's not get hung up on that. We're at a breakneck pace, loser. Light just fell asleep at his desk. His dad tells him the guy died. They're both glad about it. They make up. Here, as Light skips out on basketball because he's obviously physically incapable.
You back the fuck?
This girl from before talks him up. We learned that her name is OC Do Not Steal, I mean Mia, and Light's last name is Turner.
You can just do whatever.
Mia's stupid like Light, but somehow more capable than him. I guess it isn't much of a competition though. She constantly manipulates and outsmarts him, although even saying that is too much. It's very obvious that a big reason for how bad these characters are is that they aren't written well. When the anime was so heavily focused on dialogue and interactions Light has with the other characters to see if he'll finally be able to get the popo off his back, it very obviously shows when you aren't as competent enough to do something close. It almost makes me wonder if it's on purpose even. Like, we couldn't do as good of a job even if we wanted to, so we'll just do something different. I mean, we just got a new OC character. Light isn't a complete ladies' man having women fall for him, and instead, let's move on. He stumbles over his words and just shows Mia the notebook and tries to get her to believe him. But for some reason they changed the rule of who can see the Shinigami so she doesn't. Then he pulls out his alien laptop and finds an active situation, writes a detailed death, and kills him.
I killed him.
They talk about what happened and how it's messed up, or not messed up, but more messed up that he doesn't think it's messed up. And then he says, you probably think I'm so messed up, and she says you're not messed up enough, and we can fix the world. So they're really a match made in the Shinigami realm. They have the same messed up sense of justice, they're both down bad for each other. So Light takes her to his room.
Can I kiss you?
Hey, consent. That's nice.
You're not supposed to ask.
Alright, Act 1 is over, and now we're picking up. They want to do more, they want to get more out of it, they get off on it.
I'm with this guy.
Ah, jeez.
So let's give it to him.
Hey, whoa,
Whoa,
whoa.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
Hey, whoa, whoa,
hey,
whoa.
hey, hey.
This isn't very Christian. Yeah, again, gotta prove we're adult. So, Light and Mia get the name Kira, and they're both at it for a hot minute, and they're the talk of the world now. And there you go. We're for adults again. We've killed people in the nightclub, and there are titties out. Who is that?
Please,
Blackmail.
please, please.
Wait, he's hunched. Iram, he's hunched. Yes, this is L. And no, actually, this isn't a racism twist straight out of 9gag. Lakeith Stanfield is actually probably the best part of this movie, including Willem Dafoe as Ryuk. I guess all that time spent with Blanc paid off. See, opposed to the other aspects of the movie, L actually acts similar enough to how he acts in the anime. Wow, that's a lot of acts, Jesus. I mean, I recognize him because he's a hunchbacked recluse weirdo. And considering the rest of our cast, I think the credit falls to Lakeith for this. But on the writer's part, L is actually smart too. Well, competent enough. It falls apart at the end, but we'll get to that.
Step into the sun, step into the light.
So L, in this fanfic movie, is so smart and immediately figures out that Kira isn't in Japan and takes a plane to America. Light's dad tells him he's part of the Kira investigation, and Light's a tad miffed that his dad would have a sane outlook on life.
How does Kira get to decide who lives and dies?
The movie, despite wanting to condense a 30+ episode anime into an hour and 40 minutes, is still filled with bloat like this.
Hey, how do I look? Good. All right, see you this afternoon.
Whereas this
Goodbye. Goodbye.
would have been totally fine, and it's just odd why some editing decisions are like this in the film. So his dad's at HQ when he gets a phone call telling him some weirdo is gonna send someone to meet him. In this universe, L is not a world-famous detective, but just some guy, or kid, who Chief heard things about, and he wants to join the case, and they said yes. I want to point something out, just generally as a pet peeve of mine that I have with movies. Let me put on my Captain Obvious hat, because movies are indeed hard to make, and scenes or even shots can take dozens of takes to get right. But my pet peeve is shot continuity. This movie doesn't specifically do it bad, I'm just mentioning it here because this frame and this frame don't match up. So for this, Death Note 2017 is a 0 out of 10. Later, in class, Light's girlfriend shows him a site where people are like, please notice me, Kira-senpai, and post people they want to kill.
Rapists, pedophiles, human trafficking, murder.
Now listen to...
102.3.
We rock FM. We play nothing but gore, rapists, and pedophile. This ain't your granny's movie. I want to point out a comment I saw on r/outlast since I finished Outlast 2 recently, plug. And I wanted to see what people think. The comment says, Traeger and Gluskin are so extreme, it goes back around to them being fun villains. Noth and Ludermilch are too realistic, making them just icky. Outlast isn't for kids. Death Note isn't for kids. And just because you're more grown up than Rugrats doesn't mean you need to bring up serious subject matter like this, or more importantly, that you can handle it well. Light rubs his two brain cells together and says, what if these aren't real and someone just wants revenge for banging your girlfriend? And then she says,
What would you do if some guy fucked me?
What the fuck?
Light's like, oh yeah, babe, I'd kill them real bad. They're saying all of this quite literally in the middle of class. Light's dad goes to meet Elle.
Wait, he sees. Why is he a grown man? Wait, he has a whole team? This is so funny.
Figured you'd be older.
I figured you'd be younger.
Elle says that the guy who did a weird thing and died did it because of Kira because he wasn't on drugs, and since it wasn't national news, Kira's in Seattle. I'd like to mention that Elle did the thing with his fingies. And it's just really entertaining to watch him be a weirdo. Elle bluffs and goes to talk to the press. GF calls Light to go check the news, or I guess his girlfriend sent an image of a call screen to him. That's not how phones work. Light and not Misa get pissed, and Elle learns that Kira can't kill him without a name and a face. Yes, of course. The writers are just working backwards to make Elle solve it. Also, if that's the case, are you telling me Light knew the names and faces of everyone in the strip club? Light talks to his dad at home about Elle.
You think maybe he's connected the dots because he's Kira?
I don't think so.
You're so funny, movie. Then we get the being followed arc of the anime, and Light talks about killing less. Mia doesn't want to. Light power trips and says it's my book, you can't kill. Later, they're watching the news. Mia heads out. Light's like, oh baby, I thought we kill people later. But she still leaves. So what happens next is some FBI head gets a heart attack, and then a handful of FBI agents get mind controlled and walk off a building. Light freaks out and says it must be Ryuk. He tells him, you're supposed to listen to me. If you do anything else, I'll write your name down. And then Ryuk says something kind of cool and says someone tried once but was only able to write 2 letters. Light's dad is obviously upset that FBI guys died, and he goes and taunts Kira. Mia's like, let's end him, bro. And Light's like, that's my dad, bro. Also, can we just... There we go. The next shot isn't even a Dutch angle, so both why is this one and continuity. Anyway, then she says, what, you want to quit and think of your mom? What low blows, but this whole thing is so stupid and so make-believe fairy tale land that I'm not even upset. Elle checks up on Chief, and since he's not dead yet, Light must be Kira. Elle heads over to Light, who's at a cafe, and then chats with him. And this is supposed to be like that scene in the anime. See, there are so many things that are similar, that are like it, but changed. But not like in a good MCU movie way, but an amateur Tumblr fanfic way. Elle pulls out a fork, then knocks over the stuff on the table for the sake of Elle quirkiness, but it doesn't land. And Elle takes off his mask to bluff more. Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe I do know. So this scene is supposed to be one of those impressive protagonist versus antagonist scenes where they face off with just their words and the actors are supposed to show off their acting chops, right? I think that's why. But what this scene does is just highlight how better Lakeith is than Nat. Light walks back after being schooled, and Mia's there and says sorry for wanting to kill your dad. Light doesn't really care, but then she says I love you, and that actually affects him. If you watch at least 2 episodes of Death Note, you could probably tell Light doesn't care for girls.
You can just do whatever.
It's pouring, so Light has a cold, I guess.
He'll show me his face. I'm gonna get his name, and I'm gonna stop him.
Jesus Christ.
That's Watari. He's Elle's right-hand man. If anybody's gonna give us Elle's real name, it's gonna be him.
This is their pillow talk.
So they use the notebook's mind control ability to control Watari and make him tell Elle's name. Watari without a last name, by the way, so if that works, then surely Elle should work too. Light in the anime wants to bring his own sense of justice to the world. Much like Peacemaker, he doesn't care how many men, women, and children he has to kill to do that. But here, for some reason, he's against killing Watari. Why? Because he hasn't done anything bad? Neither has Elle, so what the hell even is the reason for this? So they have this contrived rule, Rule 89. If you burn the page, the person doesn't die, or in his words, nothing bad happens. What the hell? But also, this can happen once per notebook, for some reason. I wouldn't bet on this not happening before, or is it just once per owner? And there are so many rules on this notebook. Why is this not written and Ryuk has to say it?
If you leave him alive, it's a loose end.
You don't need to help me.
Yeah, but you still want to leave him alive.
I should like to rest first.
Ain't it wood? So Watari is now one man, lone, betrayed by the... This isn't working. He's gone and L's sad about it. Light's girlfriend and Chief are having dinner and then L barges in. I think I said something about this before. Honestly, people should lock their doors. I was gonna say Americans should, but this isn't really just an American thing. Also, he's really making his way downtown. And they seem to not have noticed. So this means he slowly opened and closed the door and then he booked it to the table. He tells Mia to leave, says Watari is missing. Light is Kira.
Your son is Kita, James.
And Dad is dumb for not figuring it out. Dad tells him to leave and L says he has a warrant and people outside.
I'm really sorry about your friend. I'm sure he'll be fine.
Damn it! You don't have to get the phone. You have crossed the line. Forced me to do the same, and I assure you, you will not survive.
Yeah, this is what I talked about before.
Tear this place apart! Tear it apart!
Now we don't have anything close to the anime anymore. Light is inaccurate, Ryuki is inaccurate, even the Death Note itself is inaccurate. And now the only thing that was trying to be close is gone too.
You can just do whatever.
So I don't even care anymore. I'm just along for the ride. What should I be mad about? Why should I be mad?
He's coming out of the house right now.
Why couldn't you keep surveillance on Watari? Surely there were cameras around the hotel he was staying at. So Light's worried about where the book is, and Mia hands him stuff for the ball. She has a hidden message in the hat telling him she has the notebook. You guys have been blurting out everything this entire movie, and now you're secret-like? Maybe because they're under higher surveillance, but I wouldn't hand it to them. I don't think they're that smart. Watari's searching the orphanage and Ryuk's up to something. You guys live in a shitty street in Seattle. Why do you have a limousine for prom? Watari's still searching and we see some goons are there too. Mia finds a guy and says he wanted to dance with me and asks if that's cool.
I don't want no beef.
You want no beef? You don't want no beef? You don't want no beef?
You don't like me? Fine, don't waste my time then.
But it was apparently so they can trick these feds. These smarts are really coming out of nowhere. They've been stupid this entire movie. This is Homecoming. Light calls Watari to learn L's name and burn the page, but the page is missing. Watari can't find L's file, but then he finally finds it and whoops, all goons, and Watari dies.
You didn't say how he dies.
It doesn't matter, it's dealer's choice.
Since L didn't write how, Ryuk decided he'd send 2 guys to go kill him. Sure, whatever. But now there's a bigger problem. Mia tore out the page. Light goes to confront her about it.
You don't get to feel superior for being a pussy.
And she reveals she tore out a page before she went upstairs before leaving. So she snuck up on an FBI agent, tased him, got him to write down everyone's name on the Kira task force, while placing each of their faces on his mind, I might add, since she feels compelled to mention that. And got them to jump off a building. Mia wants the book for herself and tells Light to give it to her, but he refuses. But the reason she didn't want L to burn Watari's entry is because she wrote his name into the book. And I guess she didn't want her biggest love in the whole wide world to do it against his will. So I'm gonna threaten him, haha. Okay. So, I'm pretty sure this is just a straight continuity error, not like my nitpicks. Either there are 2 pages torn out of the book, the one she took out from before, and the new one with Watari's name on it, or she only took this one out, did her thing, and put it back without him notice. Except I went back and looked and there's no tear! Oh lord, this movie is so bad. Alright, calm down. L learns of Watari's death and freaks out, which is super in character, and he's on the chase for Light. Meanwhile, Light is...
That's not running.
Light goes and sees his name is written some pages further ahead. Then he's like, oh no, my name, in the Death Note. I wish I could burn it to get rid of the effect like Ryuk told me. Anyway, baby, come over to the Ferris wheel. Why are there phones like that? There's no such thing as an incoming message. It either comes or it doesn't. So seeing that L's gone AWOL, Chief sends cops out to catch him and protect his son. The Popo show up to protect Light, but this leads to a misunderstanding and he's on the run from school all the way to the amusement park. L is now completely out of his mind. He is, indeed, ghost riding the whip, crazy taxi, beep beep.
This is like disco.
What's that running dude? What was that woman? She did like the animation an NPC makes when you push them in a city. Elle now finds Light and starts chasing him on foot.
Think of a big black man chasing you!
Well, he's not racist.
They are just absolutely causing destruction as they run. Why are you stopping? What an asshole! Elle catches Light. Light's about to explain when someone comes out of one of the buildings. Elle tells him Light is Kira and he's working to stop him, but the guy is a Kira supporter and he hits Elle with a 2x4 and knocks him out. Light keeps on roleplaying as Forrest Gump and runs all the way to the amusement park. What the hell is this running man? Light is obviously upset, and Mia is a really concerned girlfriend and asks, "Oh geez, I wonder what it could be." Light threatens the Ferris wheel conductor or whatever to start it, and then shoots it so it can't be stopped. Did he miss? Did it go through the metal and then hit the glass? Or did he just miss? He then starts to fry dough. Light pleads with Mia, saying they should stop.
Let's just run away together and never use the death note again.
You can't run away. She politely asks for the book.
Now give me my fucking book, okay?
Oh, my mistake. She politely asks for her book. Light gives it to her and then tells her to keep in mind all the strife it brought, because what's wrong with this power couple is the Book of Death.
Take it, but just remember what it's done, not just out there, but to us. If you love me, then you gotta trust me. Don't take the book, because if you do, you'll never see me again.
Is he gonna jump or? I mean,
I love you so much.
You
You do.
You do? Actually?
Light gets distracted by his dad, and then Mia takes the opportunity to nick the book.
No!
What?
What?
So Light's, well, bright idea was to write into the book that if Mia takes the book, she dies.
You put my name in it, didn't you?
It was only if you took the book, and I thought I could convince you not to take it.
Are you kidding me? Like,
You put my name in the book, I got mad, I'm taking it. You said you loved me, I thought you
What
would
is
take the
going
book.
This is so dumb.
They shouldn't stop.
I mean, it's a death note, they shouldn't, yeah.
How is he going to stop?
He can die, I guess. I don't know, doesn't matter. It like in see, this movie is and Mia lets herself succumb to gravity for the book. Light falls too.
What is
They're dying. Mia falls into a stand full of flowers. She's alive! But it ain't Assassin's Creed rules, apparently.
all those gorish things and now she died.
She just has a nosebleed. She should splat. Elle shows up just to see the torn piece of paper fall into a burning barrel. And then a random guy takes the death note. And the similarities are definitely there, but so are the differences. And that's it. The movie's over. That was the climax. Light, dead. Mia, dead. Father mourning the loss of his child. And Elle butthurt that he couldn't solve the Kira case. Well, at least it's over. What was that? Just 10 minutes left? Oh, well, okay.
28 samples.
So there are 4 more new deaths related to Kira. Elle can't explain why, but he's sure it's Light, even though he's in a coma. Elle's got friends in high places, so they can't put him in jail. But they say if he ever comes over to solve crimes in their turf, they'll kick his ass. Mission failed. We won't get him next time. Some guy delivers Elle the notebook, and he hides it under his pillow like a tooth for the tooth fairy. Elle thinks about what Light told him before he got sucker bonked. He calls to check. Well, he doesn't call, to see if he or his girlfriend took math. Then he heads to Mia's house. Light's dad finally figures out that his son is a mass murderer because he found a news clipping of Mom's killer in his room and put it together. He asks how, and Light actually explains. To the movie's credit, not being smart is on character for Light. So my previous rating of 0 out of 10 is going up to a 1 out of 10 for consistency. Light explains that at the moment where he was in the computer lab running away from the cops, he not only wrote Mia into the book, but set up a whole Rube Goldberg machine with one guy who works at the hospital to put him in a coma, and then the other to pick up the death note and use it for a bit, and then give it to him.
On the night of October 12th.
Oh, so you mean today? And of course, not your granny's death note, so these guys did heinous things. And he wrote that when the Ferris wheel falls, the page will fall into fire. Okay, fine. He also wrote that he would land in the water and Mia
strikes the shoreline.
You mean the pier light? Elle does some breaking and entering into Mia's room. I guess her parents are away. I don't know. And he finds the root of all this evil. Math. In the book, like he thought, he found a page, and Elle is set into a frenzy. He nearly writes Light's name in the book, but it's left ambiguous and we cut to the hospital. Light says sometimes you gotta choose the lesser of evils, and his dad asks, which one are you? Ryuk is absolutely cackling at the side, and he says,
You humans are so interesting.
And yeah, I agree. Like, why would I watch this? And then the movie ends. Hey, you wanna see my reaction to this?
Interesting.
Based on. You want to see my reaction again?
Interesting.
I think it's safe to say this movie was poorly received, and that isn't good. And not in a The Room way, or a Venom if you watch it as a comedy way, or even a Twilight way. This movie is straight up doo-doo, pardon my French. But I very much noticed a key difference between me and everyone else's reaction to this. Maybe it's because Netflix was high off the heels of Stranger Things at the time. God, I still gotta finish that. Or maybe people just had hope that they wouldn't make their beloved franchise a joke. I can sympathize with that.
Get up!
No, I kid, of course. Kinda. I'd say this movie is the genesis of Netflix's bad movie reputation. At first it was just making funny gags, but then people got racist with the jokes when Netflix started making people black. But the point is, this movie popularized the idea of Netflix would ruin adaptations. So very little is true to the anime that it leaves me wondering if anyone working on the project watched the anime. But then you have smaller details and elements like Elle's mannerisms, the guy with the briefcase, or Elle being followed that might leave you thinking they did watch it, but no. Like I was saying throughout this video, this very much is an OC creation. Like Pacific Rim 2, there's very little similar to what came before. There were also so many filmmaking errors, not in my opinion poor stylistic choices or changes they made, but straight up mistakes in the movie that makes it very amateurish. The only good actor was Lakeith. Willem Dafoe was good enough, but he wasn't really there much, and he was pretty similar to the Green Goblin. I'm not the only one, right? The way he spoke? I don't know. If you want to watch something, obviously the anime is there, but maybe only watch the first 25 episode, mayhaps. And I think that's about it. I'd really love to know your opinions down in the comments, guys, so please tell me what you think. Check out the Boogeyman video I made before, or other stuff I'm doing on the channel. Like, subscribe if you want to. I don't know. And I think that's about it. I have some other fish to fry now. You have anything else you want to add, babe?
Well, this was bad.